Hi, I'm Amy Caldwell, and I'm here with Danny Bryant. We both made the long trip from Atlanta here to Seattle. So we're halfway through the conference. How are you doing with the time adjustment?
Oh, I'm doing just great with that. I'm making it.
Right, yeah, it's definitely interesting. So, Danny, how many Kscopes have you been to?
This will be my third Kscope. Started off in San Antonio, made it to New Orleans, and now I am here in bright, sunny Seattle.
Right, and from what I understand, you're on the conference planning committee for next year, so the big announcement was made. What can you give us a little insight on that?
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be.
You know, they announced where it is, and so we're very excited about being able to have it down there, and we're going to have some good things for you.
Good. I'm excited about that. So I know recently you had a blog post, and you've been, exploding in your blog posts, and you're presenting this year and things like that. So it's been neat to kind of watch your involvement grow. And I just was curious if you could give maybe some advice to newcomers into the ODTUG community, or just some of us that don't quite know how to plug in, or if you can give some advice on maybe your journey.
Sure. So really the first thing that happened was there was a mentor program, and so I was able to be introduced to a lot of the people that run the organization, a lot of the participants for my first Kscope. So it is important, I would say, you've got to be out there. You've got to be willing to introduce yourself, walk up to a complete stranger, and say, "Hi, my name is."
Absolutely.
If you can do that, you'll do fine. As far as when you're talking about the blog posting, yeah, I mean that was a big step because you don't want to look like you don't know what you're talking about and put something out there. I think everybody has that fear.
Right.
But I mean, the community has they rally around you, and what they do is they want to know what's out there. They want to say, "Oh, you know what? That's a great idea. How about doing it this way?" And when you can then give that back, you receive it in return. So that's been my journey, and it's been a good one.
Good. Yeah, I would agree. I'm not quite there at the blog posts yet, but but I think with even just the involvement on Twitter and the forums and things, it's been neat just to kind of give some input. And I think one of the things that I found a pretty easy way to get started with involvement was just being an ambassador for the sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And can you explain a little bit about what that means and how someone might do that?
Sure. So I was actually an ambassador when in San Antonio, and that was actually the one thing that I think propelled me to do what I'm doing now. And it's actually in that blog post that I did right before the conference. Okay. It was not technical at all, but it outlined my journey to where I am now. And it is, get in there, and once again, you have to still go say, "Hi, my name is, I'm the ambassador for this particular session." Mm-hmm. And those speakers, all the presenters, I mean, they're great, and so, and you have to come out of a shell, though. You do have to do that.
Absolutely. There's lots of us that can help you with that. As far as the content of the conference this year, have you felt, is there anything that's kind of blown your mind? I know with me, some of the sessions I've gone to, I've worked in Oracle for 14 years, and there's been some things that I just never understood, and it just takes sometimes one great presenter and a topic, and it's going to change things when I get back. So is there anything that you've kind of taken away so far? I know we're just halfway through any sessions that kind of stood out to you.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are, in this particular visit here, are to just get the nuances of some of the stuff that I use on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. SQL developer, I was in one today. Just went through using debugging PL SQL, and I'm going, we do a little bit of that, but we don't do that much of that. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of stuff where you're used to using the applications, you're used to using the tools, and then somebody comes in and can just help you move a little bit further and get a little bit better results, is where I'm taking note. And so that's been a good one. You've got great speakers that are out there doing a lot of good stuff, and it's a lot. And
it is.
Everything is always so good.
It is. There's been times I've looked at the schedule and the agenda, and I can't decide between 3 or something. So I'm almost positive we can get all of the slides from any presentation that you might have missed or anything. So I think that's a great asset, because I can get back. I might have missed that session, but I need to look at it. I need to see the slides and ask questions. So I think that's a really neat advantage. So when you get back from this conference? Are there particular things that you do with your team or your management just to kind of let this, high kind of live on a little bit, or how do you bring back?
So, what I do is once we come back from a conference, we normally sit down, go back over all the sessions that we attended.
Okay.
And then we work out anything that we learned that would let us apply a timetable to implementation, if that's what some of the objectives are. And so we'll go back, what can we do in the next 6 months? What did you learn that we can now apply over the next 12 months, next 18 months? And just we work a plan. And then we deliver that to actually the CIO, and we either get authorization to do those. Sometimes funding doesn't allow for all the stuff, but that's typically our goal. Is we come back from these and we lay out what can we do over up to the next 18 months from stuff that we learned specifically at this event.
Right, that's excellent. I did the same thing, a couple of us that came last year, and sometimes we've got our projects planned for the whole entire year and you don't get a chance to get to some of it, but I'm like, we've got to take those learnings and apply them. So just little bits. I actually have some interns this summer working on some of the things that I learned last year. So some pretty advanced things. I'm pretty impressed with the group we've got. But one thing last year was my company's first time to send anybody. We had 2 of us this year. There's 3. I think what happens is people start to pick up on what the great experience that we're having and learning. Yeah. And I think it's fun that the event is in different locations. So it's my first time to Seattle. It's nice to get a chance to do that. So
yeah, it's been 15 years since I've been in Seattle, so
right.
it was good to come back and do this. I'm also going to say one other thing we talked about, what we get back is, because I have a group or a team of developers that works with me, certain things we come back and say, you need to go explore this a little more and look a little deeper into how you're doing your job, how you're doing your work, and see if this will help.
You're right. There's a lot of times that from the sessions here, you're getting your mind opened to an idea. Tom Kite yesterday actually said, when you leave today, you're not going to understand this, but you're going to understand that it can be understood.
Yeah,
and so
that's great.
I thought that was really great because, it just gives you that note, hey, we need to really go spend like a week really researching this, or a day or something like that. So I would agree with that. Yeah. So it's neat to see that come back to our regular jobs. Yes. So do you have any other thoughts you want to share just on community involvement, or just in general your experience with the Oracle stack?
Well, yeah, for community involvement, you can definitely check out the website for ODTUG, because they we just launched the new communities. And so that's going to be the newcomers community in particular is going to help people that are just getting in.
That's excellent.
And there's some things, I was talking to somebody even recently, and they want to know, like, what is the user group?
Right.
And so,
how did this thing start?
Yeah,
like, where did this come from?
What's the history of ODTUG, and can I see a timeline of that from? So, like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's see how we can make that happen. And so,
I want an interactive big data timeline of ODTUG.
There we go. There we go.
Hey, well, thanks for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference.
Thank you very much, and I plan to.
All right, thank you.